Hello, Year 11. You will by now know that your PPEs start the 30th of November. At the moment, the government decision is that you will sit your exams, so this will offer you the experience you need. We have many plans afoot to make sure it's done safely and securely, so you don't need to worry. In fact, you don't need to worry about anything. What you do need to do is give these exams your best shot. This will help teachers work out what you can't do yet and to make sure that we offer you the right support and intervention next term. Like last time, this presentation is for your English, Maths and Science teachers to go through what you can expect and how you should revise for your core PPEs.
Good morning, Year 11. It's Miss Wilson here. I am just going to talk you through what you've got for your PPE exams, which are coming up. Before I start, I just wanted to say well done to everybody because you've been working really, really hard. We are unanimously impressed with your effort and your approach to your lessons and your the kind of dignity with which you respect each other. So we really do recognise the effort you're putting in, and that's absolutely brilliant. And that really is all we need from you is just your focus and your attention. You're in the hands of an excellent team, so trust us and work hard and you will do very, very well. So you've got 4 exams for English. You've got 2 exams for English language and 2 exams for English literature. For your PPEs, you are going to have the English language paper 1 and the English literature paper 2 because you've just been studying Macbeth. And so it's an appropriate time to place those 2 exams. So for the moment, you can disregard your English language paper 2 and your English literature paper 1 because those will be tested in the new year. Okay, so your English language paper 1, the first of your 2 exams, you get 1 hour 45 minutes for this paper, and you will recognise it well because you've already done lots and lots of preparation for the English language paper 1. It's called Explorations in Creative Writing. The whole paper is worth 80 marks. It is the paper where you don't compare 2 sources. You only have 1 source, and that source is creative. It's an extract from a story, usually a story opening, but not always. So you have a section A, you have a reading section and a writing section because they want to know that you can read and you can infer critically, but they also want to test whether you can write well and you can think of a reader and you can write for an audience. So you've got to do 2 things. You've got to read and you've got to answer 4 questions and then you've got to write. So section A, you have 4 questions. You have the nice, easy kind of entry question, which is list 4 things for 4 marks. We want to see 4 marks from everybody there. That's testing that you can read and identify bits of information within a written text. So you just have to list 4 things that do a certain thing within the text. Question 2 is the language question, where they focus your attention on a small part of the source and they will write, the question is, how does the writer use language here too? And then it will be a steer. It will be something specific, like how does the writer use language to create a sense of the dinosaur's power? Or how does the writer use language here to create a sense of power in the storm? Or how does the writer use language here to create intrigue around the main character? So it will be a specific question. And your teachers will have taught you how to answer that question. We all teach it the same way. There's a really clear approach here to get your 8 marks or to certainly get above 6. And that's what you're aiming for. You're aiming for kind of 6 out of 8 in that question too. And that's where you explore the language that the writer has used to do something specific. Question 3 is your structure question. How has the writer structured the text to interest you as a reader? Again, 8 marks. We're looking at roughly a mark a minute for this paper, so you need to give yourself sort of 8 minutes for question 2 and 8 minutes for question 3. The structure question is where you really look at what is where and why. So you're looking at the positioning of ideas within the text, working through it chronologically, looking at the beginning, the middle and the end, and exploring in a sophisticated way why the writer has started with certain elements and how they are ordered and organised to create a particular effect. So, for example, if the main character is introduced at the beginning and the mood is negative, then potentially the writer is invited to ponder as to how the story will end and whether the mood will shift at the end, and look for that mood shift towards the end of the text. Your teachers will have taught you to use words like penultimate, later on, firstly, to organise your ideas through this question. Question 4 is the big meaty 20 marker. That's a quarter of the marks for the whole paper. So you have to make sure that you focus on it and you give it due care and attention. It's the question where you get a statement and you're asked to what extent you agree with this statement. And again, your teacher will have taught you how to respond by largely agreeing in the most part, and then picking out lots of language and structural features to support your point of view in response to that statement. So it's an analytical response that the examiner is looking for there. And then section B, you are invited to write a story or write a description. Many of you will have that kind of planned in your head. You'll know what sort of thing you want to write about there. You will play to your strengths. Whilst you don't get marked for your link to the picture, we are looking for a tentative link from everybody. So you need to try and make sure that somehow you link to the picture in front of you, whether it's starting with, the lights as they danced across the pavement reminded him of that day. So you've got a tentative link to the picture to ensure that you are able to demonstrate the fact that you've used the picture to inspire you. You get 24 marks for what you write and 16 marks for how you write it. Again, you will have practiced how to organise your writing for those 16 marks, how to use the 2-sentence paragraph, how to make it cyclical potentially, how to use extended metaphors. So how you write it is for 16 marks, but the 24 marks is for what you write. It's for the content of your story. So you've got to have a really clear idea. And again, you will have used formulas. You will have all sorts of different ideas of approach there that will have been taught to you by your teachers. Okay, so English literature. So we're giving you a paper 2 for your PPE because you are ready now to write another Macbeth response. You all want to be improving. You really want to be improving on your last one. So that's your kind of target here, to make your Macbeth essay better than the one that you wrote for core assessment week. English literature, you've got those 4 assessment objectives. You obviously, AO1, you've got to refer to the text. You've got to embed quotations and use an academic style of writing. AO2, you need to analyse language and structure and explore the writer's choice. AO3, you need to think about when and where the text was written and who wrote it. So that's the context assessment objective. And then AO4 is accurate spelling and expression. So keep those bouncing around in your mind. Keep thinking, I need to make sure that I use adequate quotation. I need to make sure that I analyse how the writer has achieved his effect. I need to think about who wrote it, when they wrote it and where they wrote it, and how that influences what the story is about. And I need to write as accurately as I can, even though AO4 is only tested in one part of the exam. Okay, folks, so your English literature paper 2 is your Macbeth essay, followed by the section C, which is the unseen poetry section. So it is not the anthology poetry. You are not tested on the anthology poetry in paper 2. That is now being tested on paper 1. So you are being tested on your knowledge of Macbeth and your ability to write about Macbeth. And you will have a question that gives you an extract, and the question will be worded starting with this extract: explore how Shakespeare presents the theme of, or the character of. So it's going to be a theme or a character-based essay. And that's why when you revise, you need to be thinking, have I got a really clear selection of quotations for each character? Have I got a really clear selection of quotations for each theme? So if you are, and often themes and characters in Macbeth kind of, collide with each other. So obviously, if you're revising the theme of guilt in Macbeth, you will be picking out a lot of quotations that illuminate Macbeth's character to you. If you're looking at the theme of power, the same will happen. If you're looking at the theme of guilt, the same will happen. If you're looking at the theme of, deceit, you will find that a lot of the quotations come from Lady Macbeth herself. So you are learning all the time. As you are learning these quotations, you're learning about the characters, and you're learning about the key themes, and you're linking them together. So as you can see from those sort of triplets in circles, I would never want to know a quotation unless I knew other quotations across the play that I could link. So a little water clears us of this deed, for example, is obviously Lady Macbeth during the murder scene, pretending that she can just wash her hands, and that this sort of high treason will be over and forgotten. Whereas Macbeth, as you know, he realizes that all great Neptune's oceans cannot wash the blood clean from his hands, and then later on, when Macbeth realizes that he will suffer the consequences of his actions forever, we've got blood will have blood, and we've got Lady Macbeth in the sleep scene sort of saying in desperation, will these hands ne'er be clean? So link your quotes together, get your 3 quotes for each idea, make sure that you can quote across the play, because that really will give you plenty of ideas for a really, really good essay. And you need to write about the extract and the play as a whole. And then in the second section, you are responding to unseen poetry. This will be, in the first instance, a poem you have not seen before. And then your final 8-mark question, you are asked to compare 2 unseen poems. And actually, this last 8-mark question is only tested for AO2. So it's only tested, you're only being examined on your ability to compare language and structure in the 2 unseen poems. And again, your teachers will have given you a clear approach here, a clear process to follow when you are looking at a poem for the first time. What sorts of things that you need to look at, and in what order. And that will get you started on a really, really good sort of solid unseen poetry response. So you all need to be making sure that you're improving on your last Macbeth response. You need to be going up a whole grade boundary if possible. That's what we're looking for. Some of you will make a huge leap of progress here, and give yourself, a real pat on the head, and it will give you grounds for real confidence going forward after Christmas.
Good morning, Year 11. Now that Miss Wilson has gone through the format of your mock exams that you'll be sitting in just a couple of weeks, you now need to consider how you're going to revise and best prepare for those exams. So in front of you, you'll see a series of links. The first link is to the NT website, where you'll see a series of revision resources. The most up-to-date link there is the PLCs. However, it currently still states that you'll be doing a Christmas Carol. However, due to the change in the exam format that Miss Wilson's already ran through, you won't be sitting a Christmas Carol, you'll be sitting unseen poetry, which your class teachers will go through in more detail in lessons as we build towards those mock exams. You will also need to consider making revision cards using the SORT program, which you can also find details of on the NT Revision Resources link, and make revision cards particularly for Macbeth, but also for how you're going to approach the language questions and the unseen poetry questions. The PLCs will help you to ensure you've covered all characters and themes that could potentially come up in your exam. You will also see links to Mr. Bruff. He is great for explaining certain scenes and themes and characters, not only in Macbeth, but he also goes through how to approach the language questions, the unseen poetry questions, and his poetry is particularly comprehensive as well for when you are looking at literature paper 1 after this mock exam, so you don't need to worry about that right now. Spark Notes is really useful in terms of covering plot and key moments, particularly in Macbeth. You can also use BBC Bite Size for how to approach the language question and the literature questions. And there's also a link there so that you can watch Macbeth. There are several versions on YouTube, but I've just attached the most specific and detailed one closest to the original play that we study in class. I'd also recommend that you approach your teachers for past papers so that you can begin practicing responding to these questions and receiving feedback from your classroom teachers, because particularly for the language paper you need to practice and practice, but the same could be said for the literature essay style format so that you can build your stamina and your essay technique. Most importantly though, beyond all of this, is we really wish you the best of luck. It's important that you do your very best, you keep writing no matter what, and as long as you have approached this with a good attitude and you've worked hard, you know you can come away feeling really, really proud. So do your best, work hard, good luck.
Thank you, Miss Wilson and Mr. Templeton. Now moving on to maths, and here you'll hear from Miss Solomon.
Hi Year 11, I'm just going to give you some quick information regarding your PPE. The Maths PPE will contain 3 papers, 2 calculator and 1 non-calculator. They'll be sat in the hall between the 2nd and the 11th of December. For this we have provided revision lists which will be attached to your class charts. For your reference, I've also attached them to this PowerPoint. You should use the revision lists along with Hegarty Maths to help prepare for your PPE. If you'd like any other revision materials, I'd advise having a quick look at the exam boards. If you're foundation, have a look at the AQA website for past papers. If you're higher, have a look at the OCR website for past papers also.
Both of these revision lists, the higher revision list and the foundation revision list, can be found attached to your class charts. As you can see, there are a list of topics along with Hegarty clips. I've left a little box on the right hand side so that you can tick off whether you have revised for that particular topic. Please use this list to prepare for your core PPE. I'll give you some hints in a second on how to use the Hegarty clip numbers to find the correct revision videos. Everyone in Year 11 has been using Hegarty Maths to complete their maths homework. You should be familiar with how to log on to Hegarty Maths already. If not, please get in contact with your maths teacher and make sure that you have your login and password available for your revision for your PPE. Once logged into Hegarty, it's really easy to search for the correct videos that you need. All you need to do is look at the revision list that's attached to class charts, look at the reference and type the reference number in the search box at the top of Hegarty Maths. This will take you onto the next page. Once you have entered the reference in the Hegarty search box, you should be able to select the topic that you want to revise. Click the topic and it will take you to the following screen. On the screen you will see that there is a revision video and also a quiz. Watch the video, take some notes, maybe make some revision cards or a revision poster, a mind map, or however you want to make your notes, and then do the quiz. This will be the best possible way to revise for your core PPE.
Thank you, Team Maths. And now Science with Mr. McQueen.
Good morning, Year 11. It is Mr. McQueen here. I'm going to be chatting to you a little bit about what's going to be happening in your PPEs on the week beginning the 30th of November. Before I do that, we'd just like to say, as a science department, we are so proud with the perseverance and determination that you guys are showing this year. And we're really proud as well of just how well you stepped up to the mark with the core assessments that happened recently. So well done, keep it all up. It's really, really impressive. So during your PPEs, guys, you're going to be sitting one paper in biology, one in chemistry, one in physics. If you sit separate science, then you'll be doing a 1 hour 45-minute paper, which is worth 100 marks. If you're doing combined science, then it's a 1 hour 15 paper, and that'll be worth 70 marks. For the eagle-eyed amongst you, then you will be sitting a paper 1 for biology, a paper 2 for chemistry, and a paper 1 for physics. The reason for this is just the way that it fits in with our curriculum, and it actually works a lot better for you guys. Just so you know, there's a whole load of resources available on the student SharePoint. These links will be made available to you. We've got the checklist for every single paper in paper 1, whether you're doing separate or combined science, and likewise for paper 2, and obviously moving forward throughout the year, those are going to become important for you. We have got the link to the SORT revision strategies on the school website, and these two are quite important. Oak National have got a whole load of lessons, so if you've missed any lesson or there's any topic you're not particularly happy on, these are lessons that will take you through step by step by science teachers. They're really impressive, they're free, they're really, really helpful, and likewise K-Science is another really good resource where they go through each of those topics, little videos to go through it all. They're really good revision tools. Okay, so let's have a look at what's actually going to be in the papers. So for biology, paper 1 is made up of the first 4 topics, so that is cell biology, organisation, infection and response, and bioenergetics. The vast majority of this stuff we have studied in year 9 and 10, and it's really laid the foundations to everything that we have learnt in year 11. So cell biology, organisation, infection, response, bioenergetics, topics 1 to 4, is all on the paper 1 PLC. This slide here will let you have a little look at what exactly that consists of. Okay, chemistry, you're doing a paper 2. They are slightly smaller topics in chemistry, but there are more of them, so it's topics 6 through to 10. Chemical change, looking at how chemical reactions actually occur and the factors that allow that to happen. Organic chemistry, and organic change, that is the branch of chemistry which basically revolves around organic compounds made up of carbon and everything that goes with it. Chemical analysis, so that's all your chemical tests and how you actually test for each of the different chemicals that are around. Chemistry, the atmosphere, and then finally using the resources around the earth. So 5 different topics to revise for paper 2, 6 through to 10. Finally then, physics paper 1 is the first 4 topics: energy, electricity, particle model, and atomic structure. There is a tiny bit of overlap here with some of the stuff from chemistry that you've done with atomic structure, but this is looking from obviously the physics aspect of it, and as it says here, there's big links with chemistry. So energy, looking at all the different types of energy and the different sort of stores of energy that are available. Electricity, lots and lots of stuff here, and some of the bits that you struggled with in the core assessment you need to make sure you go back through. And the particle model is everything you've been taught at the start of this year and is all your states of matter, and again builds up upon everything that you've learned all the way through from Key Stage 3. Okay guys, so work hard, use the resources, look at all the different resources available in the student shared area. We have got revision mats, we have got mastery booklets, we have got past paper questions with mark schemes, everything you could possibly need. And don't forget, if you have not ordered a revision guide, they're still available on Parent Pay. They're incredibly cheap and they are very, very good. If you have any questions, please go and ask your science teacher and they will help you out as best they can. Good luck guys, bye bye.
Hopefully you found that useful. Best of luck, Year 11. You do have PPE exams in all of your examine subjects, and it's really important, as I've said, you give them your best go. I also want to reassure you that should decisions change about your exam, this won't be the only thing we use, so if you have a bad day or things haven't gone to plan, don't worry. There'll be lots more assessment points in the year that you can fall back on to use. Best of luck, you're doing so well, just give that extra little push and you'll be fine. See you soon!